Hello, my name is Robin and welcome to By Faith Dolls. And today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how I make the Sunny and the Baby doll. In this video, we're just going to be focusing on Sunny, which is the first doll. In the left, we're going to be focusing on Sunny and the Baby doll. Here's the baby doll. And we're going to be having a series of videos because it may be too long to put it all into one video today. So we're going to be working on the body today. So welcome. Okay, so I call her Sunny. And here's the baby. And this is what we're going to be making today. We're going to be starting on just the body. So what you're going to need for this is fabric. First, this fabric came from Walmart. And as you know, Joann Fabrics is closed. That was where I used to get my fabric from. But now I am searching in other places, and Walmart had this fabric, 100% cotton, and it's 2 yards. And I cut it in half for this doll. This doll is approximately 27 inches, and the baby doll is approximately 6 to 8 inches. So you're going to need fabric for that. And you're going to need brown thread for the sewing machine. And you're going to need this doll has embroidered eyes. Let me show you. This is what I really love about this doll. This doll Sunny has embroidered eyes. And as you can see, there's many different colors and in her eyes, and I think that it really makes the doll stand out. And yes, so her nose and her mouth is embroidered. And the same thing with the baby. The baby has same color eyes and mouth. But I wanted to show you that I have embroidery thread that I got from, guess where? Joann Fabrics before she closed. I'm not going to say her name again. As you know, you can tell I really shop there a lot. But here are some of the embroidered threads that I use for the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. I don't seem to be able to find my black, so I have this other thread that I'm going to use for my black to replace that. So we have this, and this is going to be for the eye color. And I also will use gray. I'll have to pull that out, but I also will add gray to this list. Okay, and we're going to talk about the hair and all that later, but for now, let's just work on the body. And so now what we're going to do is get our pattern pieces. So now I'm going to trace the body. I'm going to be using this blue marker, but preferably I would use chalk. But we just moved into this place and I do not have all my supplies here yet. So I'm going to be tracing this in blue. I don't have all my equipment. I don't have my camera with my tripod, so I'm doing my best in this video, and it's coming out, the blue is coming out pretty good. Okay. One thing I always say is, you know, when you're being creative, I don't focus on perfection. It's just more fun and being creative. So if you make a mistake or don't trace it the way you want exactly, just don't worry about it. Just be free and have fun with it. Okay, so here's what it looks like. And now I'm going to trace the remaining pieces, the legs, the arms, and the face. Okay, now I'm done tracing the pieces. Here's what it looks like. The body, 2 legs, 2 arms, the face, and the baby's body. So now what I'm going to do off camera is cut out all the pieces, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are with all of our pieces cut out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sewing machine and sew them together. Okay, now I have one of the legs. It's 2 pieces here, and I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch from the edge, and I'm going to do that all the way around. I'll finish it off camera. So here is what it looks like, and it's very important when you get around the toe area, the foot area, to clip the edges. It makes it look nicer when you turn turn the fabric inside out, which we will do soon, but just remember to clip the edges like that. And now I'm going to do the other leg and the arms, and I'll come back. Okay, so now I'm going to be turning the legs and arms inside out. So here's one of the arms, and I'm going to be using my hemostat scissors or tweezers. I got these from Amazon. These are great for turning the tiny little spaces and with the arms and the legs. Okay, so here it is. It has this little, I call them teeth. It's perfect for grabbing the fabric. Okay, so now I left a little opening in the arm for turning and stuffing. So now I'm going to put my hemostat inside. See that? Pushing it all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to grab some of the fabric. See that? And you begin to pull it up through the little opening while the teeth is holding on tightly, and it really works nicely. Look at that. Look how fast I turned that inside out. You see that? Look at that. Okay, so now what I want to do is make sure that I go back in and push the fabric very gently to make sure that it's all pushed down and no fabric is lumped on the inside. Okay, look at that. That looks good. That's one of the arms. It's going to go like this. See that? Okay. And then I'll do one of the legs so you can see. Okay. So now I'm going to turn this one inside out. Put my hemostats inside and go down to the bottom. And very gently grab some of the fabric. Look at that. And begin to pull, holding the hemostats very tightly together so it'll come all the way out. Look at that. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like. Now I want to go back in and just gently make sure that everything is pulled all the way. Okay. 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 right, there you go. And so what I'm going to do is I have an arm and a leg here. So I'm just going to stuff one of them and finish it off camera, okay? So, got my stuff in here. I'll start that. See how the hemostats are perfect for not just turning, but stuffing. Look, I can grab a little piece of this and I can put it in and make it look so uniformed and not so clumpy and lumpy. So I'm going to put a little piece in and push it all the way to the bottom. Very gently, making sure I don't poke a hole in the hand or the arm area down here. All right, so that's that. And I'm going to keep stuffing it. I'm going to keep stuffing it until it's to my satisfaction. Okay? And my Sunny doll I have a bend in her arm. Can you see that? I took a stitch and went across so I can make her have an elbow bend, her elbow bend. Okay, we're going to do that too. So what I want to do here is when I'm stuffing, I want to make sure that I kind of leave this bend where the elbow's going to bend. I kind of leave it not stuffed so tightly, only because I want to stitch across it and I don't want it to be too difficult, because you're going to take the sewing machine and stitch through fabric, but you want it to be a little light in this area. So don't stuff it too thick right there. So now I'm going to keep stuffing. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to finish stuffing off camera and I'll come back. I wanted to show you something. So I finished stuffing this arm, and I'm going to close this opening up by hand. You could sew it, but I find it looks nicer and more cleaner when I do it by hand. And I think it's called a ladder stitch. That's what I'm going to use to close this up. So all I'm doing right here is, this is another option. I figured out where I wanted the bend of the arm to be. I kind of looked at the Sunny doll, and I figured it would be like about the bend will be about like right here. Okay. Like about right here. Like about right here. about right there. See, this is not an exact science. So what I'm going to do is find a pin and put it in there. Maybe this will help me. Let's see. Maybe up a little higher. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so we wanted to go upward. So I'm just trying to match this right here. So, okay, I'll go up that way. But this you can do with your sewing machine. It's pretty easy to stitch it across. But I'm going to, just for the sake of this video, I'm going to do it by hand. So what I want to do is you just want to stitch it across. So this is just going to be a simple running stitch. Okay. Okay. I hope that you will enjoy this video and have fun. Every time whenever I am working on these dolls, I think about the first time I made my first sewing project in middle school. I made a pair of pants. And for some reason, I got the sewing bug from that point on. Like, I asked my mother to buy me a sewing machine, and I think my brother actually bought me a sewing machine. I'm pretty sure of that. And so, for some reason, sewing has always been one of my favorite things to do. When my children were little, I didn't have a chance to do much of this. The only thing I think I did when they were little was I made my son Jordan an outfit for a play he was in preschool. But I didn't really do much. I didn't really start sewing a lot until 2013. I got me a sewing machine, I think from Kmart. Kmart was open at the time, and I just started making rag dolls. It was very, very comforting, and it was in the winter when I started making these dolls. It just was so much fun and just calming. I don't know, for some reason, whenever I started making dolls, it was just a very calming thing. Okay, so look, I'm done with so that's going to be my bend. See, that was so simple. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and close up this stitch, and then I will come back. Okay, so now the legs and the arms are all stuffed. Here's one of the legs stuffed, the other one, and the arms, I closed up that little opening on the side, and I put a little hand stitch across to make an elbow. And this part right here, I didn't stuff it too tightly. It's a little loose right here because I'm going to sew this part with my machine onto the body. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my machine and attach these pieces to the body. Okay, so now I'm at my sewing machine and I have one piece of the body. And what I'm going to do is these legs are going to go on top like that. And you want to make sure that they are in the right position. The feet are going in together there. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to sew these legs here at the bottom. Right, I'm going to sew them. It's going to go across here. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the arms and I'm going to sew them on the inside. There's so many ways to do this, but I'm going to, okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to be stitching here and here. And the tricky part is with the arms, this is going to be turned inside out when you're done. So you want to make sure that when you sew this on, when you turn it around, it's in the right position. See, that's not the right position that you want. So when you stitch this on, you're going to have to kind of stitch it backwards. So if you stitch it this way, and when you turn it around, the arm should go in like that. So you want, I know this is kind of weird, but you want the arm to be kind of like backwards. And you're stitching onto the body right where you made this where you closed up the arm. So that is the part that you're going to be stitching on here. Okay, so you want to make sure that the arms are in the right position. So when you turn them, they look like they're in the right position. So you have to just use your own judgment there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this and then I'll come back. So this is what it looks like when you sew the legs on. See how they're going backwards. And I sewed the arms on. It was helpful that I made this area kind of light with stuffing because it made it easier to stitch. Just see the stitch goes from here to here just like that. And that's how you attach the arms. And now I'm going to put the top part of the body and then stitch around. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch the other part of the body on top. You see how I have the arms laid underneath and the legs? Okay, so now starting at the top, I'm going to stitch all the way around the perimeter. And when I'm going to go all the way around and then I'll come back. I'm going to go off camera. So I'm going to go to the neck area and just tug on the legs. And you could use the hemostats for this, but it's not necessary. You just pull the legs out. You're going to turn it inside out. See? You turn it inside out. Keep turning. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. And you're going to pull the legs out, the arms out. Just be gentle. I tend to be a little rough because I've been doing this for such a long time. Okay, so you're going to pull it out, pull it through the opening. Okay, so now here's what we have. See? This is what it looks like at the bottom of the legs. I mean the top of the legs. See? Arms. Okay, so now here's what our arms look like. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to stuff it from the neck area, and then I'll come back. Okay, so now I stuffed the body, and this is what it looks like. And now what I'm going to do is make the face.